Hello, 7th grade, and welcome to tonight's lesson, Lesson 6-1, on ratios and unit rates. In tonight's lesson, we have two objectives. First, you will be able to find rates and unit rates, and secondly, you will be able to use measures expressed as rates and products to solve problems. So, to begin, I have a few definitions. First is a ratio. When we talk about a ratio, it's a comparison between two quantities. And the important idea here is the operation is division. And there are three ways you can show something, a comparison. You can write the word 2. So if I'm comparing 10 to 15, I could do marks, or I could do a division sign. All of those are ways to show the comparison of 10 to 15. And then we have a rate. This is a type of ratio that compares quantities in different rates. So for example, this could be miles per gallon, right? Or cost per ounce. So there's two different quantities that you're comparing. And then finally is a unit rate. This goes along with the idea of a rate. So we're comparing two different things, but our rate needs to have a denominator of 1. So we're finding how many miles per 1 gallon of gas, how much it costs for 1 ounce, and so on. So here's our first problem. A car goes 425 miles on 12 5/10 gallons of gas. Find the unit rate. Well, first, to do the rate, we need to find the rate first. We know a car can go 425 miles over 12 5/10 gallons. Again, we're comparing two different units, miles per gallon, so that's why it's a rate. Now we can simplify it. And again, you can use calculators when you get to this lesson. So you do 425 divided by 12.5, and we get 34. This is the same as 34 miles to 1 gallon, or just 34 miles per gallon. There we go. Now, again, we're going to take it, but we're going to take it a step further. The table here shows prices for different packages of index cards. Which size has the lowest unit cost? Now, when we do something like this, the money always is on top with the ounces or the size on bottom. All right, so that's something to keep in mind. So if we were to do this 100 by 270 first, so I know I can buy a pack of 100 cards for $2.70. Well, if I divide that out, and you can do that as well, 270 divided by 100, and you end up with 0.027. And again, on this one, you could really just move the decimal over 2 spots. That's how I got that one. Now, I want you to do the 50 and 25. Find the unit cost. So find the cost for the 50 cards and find the cost for the 25. And then find out which one of these has the lowest rate. So go ahead and do that now. All right, so let's go ahead and check those. So if I were to do the $1.30, I can get 50 cards for $1.30. And if I divide that out, I find out that it costs me about 26 thousandths cents per a card. Right? And then we have the final one. I know I can buy 25 cards for 75 cents. So if I divide it out to find the unit rate, I end up with 0.03 or 3/100ths. So I have the 3 unit rates. And I see this has 3 for place value, this has 3 places, and this one only has 2. To make it easier for me to compare, I'm going to add a 0 to that last one. Now there's to the same place value, and I look. Well, the smallest price here is this one, the 26 thousandths. So what one has the lowest unit cost? Well, it's the 50 cards. So your answer for this one should be the 50 cards. All right, now we're on to the next part about dimensional analysis. And we worked on this before. We've learned how to convert 34 inches to so many feet. And to do that, well, you find out there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Now, when we actually convert these, we're going to be using dimensional analysis. We use what we know about the dimensions to solve it. So, the first thing we do is write whatever one they give us as a fraction or a rate. We have 34 inches over 1. Well, I know I need to convert to feet, and here's how this works. When you do these, you want inches to cross out. If I put them on top, I'd have inches squared. I don't want that. So whatever one's on top, I need to make sure it's on bottom so they cross out. So I know there are 12 inches and 1 foot. So then I multiply. 34 times 1 is 34. And I notice the label up here is feet. And then in this one, 1 times 12 is 12. And there's no label there. So I get 34 twelfths, which simplifies to 17/6 feet, which again, you could simplify again and get 2 5/6 feet. All right, so again, the most important idea here is whatever's on top, you need to make sure that label's on the bottom in order for them to cross out. So here I have another example. And this one says convert 30 gallons per minute to cups per second. And then I give you a little helpful hint. There's 16 cups per gallon. So again, you start with what they give us, which is 30 gallons. This is the rate they give us, or unit rate really, per 1 minute. So that's what we start with. Now we need to write the next one. All right, we know we have to go from gallons to cups, and we also have to convert from minutes to seconds. So we have a few things going on. First, I'm going to get to the gallons to cups. So I have that hint here. There are 16 cups in a gallon. Because gallons are on top here, this time they're going to be on bottom, so they cross out. So 1 gallon is the same as 16 cups. So now I can cross out those ones I have in common. Now if I look at my labels, I have cups per minute. Well, I have the cups, so I'm good there, but I need to still switch to seconds. So I take a look. Well, I'm in minutes right now, so I know I have to go from minutes to seconds. And I use what I know. Well, I know for 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. Those cross out. And now I have it in the right unit. And I like to cross out the units as I go along. That way I can make sure I'm ready to go. I have left cups and seconds, so I can multiply. 30 times 16 times 1 is 480 cups. And then down at the bottom, 1 times 1 times 60 is 60 seconds. And I can simplify that, and you end up with 8 cups per second. So that's how that one works. And I believe I have one more for you to do. And this one says there are 3 5/10 quarts per a minute. All right, and you need to switch this from quarts to gallons and from minutes to hours. Here's my hint for you for the quarts and gallons. In a gallon, it equals 4 quarts. So that might help you out. So go ahead and pause me now. All right, so let's see how you did. Well, first I'm going to switch from quarts to gallons. As I told you, there are 4 quarts per gallon. So that's what I'd write first, and quarts cross out. Now I have gallons per minute, but I need to go from minutes to hours. So minutes are on bottom, so now they're on top. And I know there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Then I multiply. 3.5 times 1 times 60 is 210 gallons. And that is all over 1 times 4 times 1, which is 4 hours. And I simplify it out, and you end up with 52 5/10 gallons per hour. That would be what you have. All right, and then finally we have this other part, and it's a little strange. There's some measures that you can take as a product. So they talk about person days or person hours or hour days. And it just says, really, the same idea. You can convert using dimensional analysis. So here, painting several rooms will take 36 person hours. How long will it take 4 painters? Well, we take what we know about it. We know there is a room that we have to paint, and it'll take 36 person hours. So meaning, if you only had 1 person doing it, it would take you 36 hours. But supposedly, if you have more people working at it, like 2, then it would only take me 18 hours per person, because there's less people, or less you have to paint on your own. So, now I'm going to put this over 4 painters, or really the painters are people. So I'm going to rewrite that as people, and then look what happens. The people cross out, and then I divide. 36 divided by 4 is 9 hours. So supposedly, if there are 4 people painting, it would take 9 hours to do this job. And here's another idea of it. A contractor has a job that requires 540 person days. Again, that product of time goes on top. How many workers are needed to complete the job in 60 days? Well, again, you take a look and see what crosses out. Days are on top and bottom. Then you simplify the numbers. 540 divided by 60 is 9. So supposedly it'll take 9 persons or 9 people. And that is your lesson for tonight. Tonight we looked at ratios and unit rates. Have a good